What is going on, everybody? My name is Coda and welcome back to Coda's Colognes. Today we're going to be looking at and reviewing Coach Platinum. This is a eau de parfum. This is one of the only eau de parfums that Coach makes for men. This is a wonderful fall fragrance that I have recently reacquired. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so you already know what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is get into the atomizer on this one. Not bad. I feel like the other atomizers on some of the other ones were better. I know I got Coach Green earlier this year, and I feel like its atomizer was better than this one, but allegedly eau de parfums, because the oil concentration, come out of the atomizer a little harder than they would like an eau de toilette. Apparently the eau de toilettes, because they're a little thinner, get more of a better burst. So all in all, I'd say this is an okay atomizer. It's definitely not great. All right, so we're gonna put two there on the arm. And one of the biggest reasons I decided to go ahead and review this one today is because it's like 76 degrees outside. It's kind of crisp, it's kind of nice. And to me, this is another fragrance that is just a beautiful fall fragrance. And on top of it being a beautiful fall fragrance, this is a relatively cheap fall fragrance as well. This one is very budget friendly. All right, so as this is drying down a little bit, I'm gonna get this bottle spinning up and we'll get into the notes. All right, everybody, we got this bottle spun up and we're gonna go over the notes. The top notes on this are gonna be pineapple, black pepper, and juniper berries. The pineapple to me isn't an overbearing note. I can't really pick it up all too much. The pepper is noticeable a little bit, but the main rock star on the top notes is gonna be those juniper berries. They are very noticeable all the way even into the middle notes. The middle notes are going to segue us into a cashmeran, sage, and geranium. The sage is what gives it a little bit of that fresh, clean vibe that you get when you first spray it. I feel like the sage mixed with the juniper berries. And then the base note of this is going to dry down to a vanilla, leather, sandalwood, and patchouli. Now, the vanilla and the leather doesn't really start to come through until you've been wearing this fragrance for about 15 to 20 minutes or so. It's not one that is a dominating vanilla. But yeah, that'll be our quick notes of the breakdown on this one. Let me get y'all flip back around and we'll get at it. Alrighty, so it's been about 30 minutes or so, and as this scent's drying down, to me, the juniper berry on the top note is kind of lingering. It's kind of lingering through the dry down. But for the most part, everything that you're getting out of this, you get some of that aromatic, you get some of that woodiness, you get a little musk to it, a touch of powdery, and then all the way through it is you get vanilla. So it does take a while for the vanilla to shine through. It's still drying down kind of as I'm going over this. But the vanilla to me is the vanilla and the leather to me on the dry down is kind of the rock star of this fragrance. It does take a little while to get all the way through the dry down. So I'm not complaining about that. I've said before, I genuinely like it when a fragrance has a big morph and a big change. And for the price point of this, I can't complain at all, honestly. Or I can't complain at all, honestly, because this fragrance is an awesome fall fragrance. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get into the price and availability of this. Availability wise, every retailer, it's Coach brand. Every retailer should have this. The best place to get this from is going to be discounters. And the reason for that being is the price that I'm going to hop into. Retail, $88 to $100. Discounters, this morning, right now, just check. You can get a 100 ml tester of this, which the only difference between a tester and an original bottle is you don't get the box. In Coach's case, these don't come with caps anyway, so you don't get a cap. And one thing that I like about it is you kind of get a breakdown of what you got going on here. So that's part of the reason why I don't mind testers, especially if it's a Coach, if it's a Le Male, if it's something like that that doesn't have a cap, and if you're someone that doesn't really care what the bottles look like anyway, always go with a tester. It saves you so much money. This fragrance, 100 ml right now, $32. To get a Coach name, to get the quality that comes behind this, to get the scent profile that comes behind this whole thing for 33 bucks, that's awesome. There's no other better way to say that. That's just awesome. For the price of this being $32, that is going to lead us into the performance of this $32 fragrance. And the performance on this one is pretty decent. So it is an eau de parfum concentration. It has the notes that wants to last. It's got that leather note, that vanilla note, that patchouli, the cashmere, all of those tends to dry down all the way through it. The top note that I like the most on this one, because like I said, I'm not really big on pineapple, unfortunately. So the top note that I like with the pepper and the juniper berry hangs on for a really long time, but it does fall off. And to me, that profile is what leads this to be such a good performer, because the performance on this is pretty good. Now, it doesn't have monster performance, but For the price that you can get this at, it does have that 6 to 8 hour longevity. It's got that 3 to 4 foot sillage. It's got that 1 to 2 foot projection. So for me, if I pick this up for $32, for me, that performance for that price point is awesome. The reason I always compare retail to discounters is if you spend $100 on this, I want $100 worth of performance. So for $100 fragrance, this performance is just okay. For a $35 fragrance, this performance is awesome because when you buy one for 34, 35 bucks, you don't expect it to have some monstrous performance. You don't expect some monster scent profile, but you kind of get that out of this. And the bottle does look good. It's got that platinum satin look. So yeah, all in all, I can't complain about the performance on this thing at all. And the note breakdown is good enough to where this could be a daytime and a nighttime fall scent. This isn't going to be a signature scent. This isn't going to be something that's completely unique. It's not going to be anything that this is going to be like old reliable. It's not going to be something that's going to be a staple in a collection, but it might be one that is going to be a safe, friendly bet. If you're going out into a mall somewhere and you're not trying to really disrupt the peace, this is a safe bet. It has a mass appealing vibe to it. Everybody will like this fragrance. And as I've said already, the performance is good enough to where it warrants a purchase. This will always, as long as it stays around that $40 range or less, this will always have a place in my collection. But yeah, I think that is going to wrap us up for today. Hopefully you like what you saw. Hopefully you took something away from this. Thank you everyone for the feedback. Thank you everyone for the comments, for the support. I truly appreciate all of it. So thank you sincerely. And that is going to wrap us up for today. So as always, we'll see you next time.